113, 14.
Okay. Rubaiya, should we start now?
I think we can start.
Okay. So welcome to the introductory session of the International Training on Collective Housing. We are very happy to start this after long thinking and our lot of, I think, work among our network. The Asian Coalition for Housing Rights, ACHR, and Community Architects Network, CAN, offers this training program revisiting 15 years of collective housing practices across Asia. This training program targets young professionals, community facilitators, development workers, and students. It aims to deepen understanding, share practical lessons, and foster innovation in collective housing through online sessions, and also an in-person co-creation workshop in Bangladesh. With support from UrbaMonde and Clean Cooling Collaborative, CCC, ACHR and CAN will be organizing this training program from October to November. And as I mentioned, that this is there will be there will be online and also on-site session. Online session is there will be community practitioners, experts from the Philippines, Thailand, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Nepal, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh will share their experience of working with communities in diverse contexts on key topics. And the topics will, all the participants who registered, about the topics, but later on in the end of this session, Rubaiya Nasrin from POCA, she will brief about the schedule and also topic and other information of the training. And as I mentioned, there will be an on-site session. There will be an on-site session that is co-creation workshop in Dhaka, Bangladesh. It will be 5 days long session, and it will be organized in Bangladesh, led by Platform of Community Action and Architecture. So we thank all these organizers and also the participants who are making this effort fruitful. So far, we have participants from 20 countries, around 90 from Bangladesh, and more than 150 international participants. They registered. So hope all will join today. Most participants are architects and students, and few lecturers. And from Bangladeshi participants, 60% participants are fresh graduates. However, internationally, more than 40% participants have more than 5 years work experience. So today there are 5 speakers, in this introductory session. Maybe we all will talk about online of this session, but most importantly, setting the platform actually, or the what we are going to get throughout this training in these 2 months on collective housing. So I was trying to find out what could be the definition of collective housing. So I was looking for it. Then I took this newsletter edited by Thomas K. This was I think 2024. It was published by ACHR. And here it mentioned very nicely that a collective housing project is like an extremely elaborate and difficult recipe, and it will always have many ingredients. The degree to which different ingredients are collective can vary widely from project to project, depending on the needs of the group that made the project and the context in which it was born. However, it may be useful to look at the elements that are common to all of them and to ask how these separate elements can be designed so that they support the collective strength of the project as a whole. Like, as in here, actually, it mentioned the elements could be, planning together, building together, owning together, financing together, live in together, uh, and many more. So it's very complex, and we feel that this is there are a lot of skills to learn, and this is also a learnable skill. And throughout this, I think, course or sessions, we will try to uh, understand and learn these learnable skills. So the speakers, there are 5 speakers, and they will talk about maybe around 10 to 12 minutes. And there will be a question answer session in the end. And end of the session, after all 5 speakers finish their speech. So I will request all the participants to write their questions in the chat box. And in the end, we'll have a discussion. And lastly, Rubaya will, as I mentioned, Rubaya will brief about the whole 2 month session, the schedule, topic, and other relevant information. So I will one by one, I will invite the speakers now, and I will also say a brief about the speaker. Then I'll request them to talk. So I'll invite in the beginning. I invite Sumsuk Buniabancha. Sumsuk Buniabancha is the chairperson and former Secretary General of the Asian Coalition for Housing Rights, ACHR. ACHR is a coalition of organizations working on urban poor housing and city development in Asia. Over the last 40 years, Sumsuk has been working extensively with the urban poor on housing development and slum upgrading in Thailand and other countries across Asia. During her years working with as the former director of the Community Organizations Development Institute, which is CODI in Thailand, she implemented the national citywide community upgrading program by mobilizing urban community processes. This took place across 300 cities using a new community finance and revolving fund mechanism. This is very exciting. Actually, we are all inspired by this, CODI program. With ACHR, she has supported citywide upgrading activities in 250 cities across 19 countries of Asia. Today, we expect her to talk about the philosophy and and as she always, talk about, good politics, so I will mention that word also, the philosophy and good politics behind collective housing approach. We also want to hear about the urgent need to review the training of professionals, uh, any professionals of this time. So with this, I invite Sumsuk Bunyabancha to start your speech. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Kabir. You hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Kabir. And I feel a great honor to be the very first person speaking on this very special uh, uh, the special process of promoting the knowledge, the practice, and the movement on collective housing in Asia, yeah, which is a really a very important joint effort, and we've been working for quite a long time, for quite a while, trying to see how we will try to organize a kind of training, which is becoming a collective learning of the people between different countries, and to share our knowledge in order to broaden the knowledge to the broader group in the region and in the world. And this training process is a very, very special because we are trying to organize it in such a way that is a combination of the on-air and on-site, on-air for broader audience and on-site for an on-ground practice and on-ground change-making process with the people on the ground, yeah, and learning as well as sharing, yeah, in itself is a collective process, which is a very, very important collective culture, yeah. If we talk about collective housing, we need to understand a little deeply on and believe in the collective learning, collective nature of how we do things. So this training in itself reflects this collective learning, sharing, and the knowledge that we've been talking about is the knowledge that has been accumulated and implemented with the people on the ground. So it's a joint knowledge between the community people, we professional, as well as the system relating to this. Yeah. So it's the first point is what I like to say that congratulate for this collective training process that we've been working together, and now is a start of such a process. The second point I think is important to mention is that this collective housing we are talking about is a human-centric housing development system. It's human-centric. It's not a quantitative-centric, yeah? It's human-centric housing development system. It's building the practical interactive system and community of people to live together, to help, to share, to protect, to support, and to bridge this scattered individual into a more solid whole of the interactive system that they've been together. So the collective housing is not housing in a conventional style as such. It's not just a physical quantity we are talking about. It's a system of people living together. And this system will need the political process. It help bridge the people and the system outside, a bit between the people themselves, strengthen among the people themselves, and bridging the people system and the social, economic, political, and environment outside. Yeah. with a strength, with a better setting, not just as individuals, scattered person, and the whole city as a whole, you know. So this collective housing is sort of a basis to build people, to build system, to build a living space, to make people more human, and bringing their full potential into an active play, and building a system in which all these individuals could go together as a group, as a stronger force, as a more communal entity, to propose to whatever other or larger city may need. And this comes because of this housing arrangement. The collective housing system build this, unlock the potential, unlock the energy of the people to be active, to be together, and to change them, and to change the system around them. So I think this collective housing is not just another housing arrangement. It is, it's important alternative, but it's a very, very important system for the very materialistic world and the kind of greedy society allow us the commercialization and the kind of violence for the small group who become having too much power above very many change of people around the world. So this is against that in a soft way, in a strong way, and in the way in which it could cause the change from bottom up, from the ground up. So this is my second point to touch on this. The third point I want to touch on is that what I mentioned is particularly for the poor. The poor in general, they are quite weak, if or even not the poor, the middle income as well in so many cities. The poor could be quite weak as individual. But when they get together and work as a group, linking their energy to be a more collective system, a group system, the social development, social integration, which come from the different people, are able to bridge the gap, to bridge the finance gap, in which they are not very good at, or the rise, in which they're far behind from other, by allowing the poor to get together. It's sort of allowing them a stronger force of change by getting stronger negotiation power, by having more knowledge among them, by having more labor force, more energy, more collective thinking, collective force to work with the different actors and make change possible. So for the poor particularly, if you don't work in a collective housing direction, it's very difficult. And as we know, in many countries in Europe, even the middle class, to get the kind of affordable housing from the market is not an easy thing for people in the middle class as well. And if you get it, you are living in an isolation, in an individual setting. So this is particularly for the poorer people. If you are not working together as a group, it's very difficult. So you are out, you are left out, you are not in the system of the housing arrangement at the existing system, that your affordability are not a part of the design. So it's an important process for the poor. If you don't work this way, you are out and you are not being included, you are excluded. So we need to promote this collective housing. And the poor have actually the poverty that happened to the poor allow the poor to have more social energy. You lack something on one hand, then you have to be richer on the other hand. So they're richer on the social side. You can find a way that this collective force could bend other impossibility into the possible way in which the poor could address the problem, and as a group, as a collective process. And not only housing, they can also build other necessary system for themselves. The other point I like to make is that it is also important that in this collective housing process, we need to work broader. We need to work in a broader scale. To me, from the very beginning, I think this citywide approach, working in collaboration with the other, is an important approach. Poor people don't have a lot of money, but they have energy, they have number. So we need to reach out the number and bring this number from the different community into an active play, into an active process. And the way in which we try to work at a broader scale, at a citywide scale, or broader scale, if in a broader neighborhood setting, whatever, it's sort of translating the meaning of collective changing process between not one community, but between different community, and between community and the others, between community and the city. So what we're talking about is the broader collectivity of the changing process, collective learning, collective effort, collective support. So we have to understand the meaning of collective in a broader sense as well. Collective not only among community people in a given community, but between community and the others. Let them be a part of this collective change, collective learning, collective action. And the kind of change that happen at the community level, where you have a group, you have the people, community effort, which the middle class don't have that very easily. But middle class have the idea, the intellectual, and the government have the power. If we combine all that in a soft way, in a proactive way, and become a more collaborative process, it will become a larger collective action. And that, I think, is very, very important. So making a collective housing process we need to find a way how we will be able to make a broader link, make a broader collective action between the people, among the people and the others. So in this way, we can secure possible broader collective action for the people and for a structural change at a city level. When we try to develop a citywide upgrading or citywide action, building the network and collaboration, in some way, it's like we are changing the politics of vertical, the top down, the governmental led, or whatever. You sort of soften all that rigidity into a more collaborative process. So in some way, we change the politics. We don't talk about politics, but through the housing process, through the collective action, we are soften the existing politics into a more friendly, a more learning, a more possible friendly process in which different actors, different roles could go together. And there are more room for community to make friends, to make a move, at the same time. So this is another point I like to make, that collective mean a broader collective, but we need to build it little by little and make it an important move wherever possible. The other point is that I think it's very timely. We need to review and being more critical about the existing housing production in our global society. Yeah, our global society since after the Second World War is more on the quantity approach. How many units, how to build it, and then giving to each individual here and there. No, not so much talking about collective effort. Not too much about building people in such a process, not too much about building community and social elements. It's just a physical setting. It's just a quantitative approach. And then come the market. Today, we have a lot of market, private sector who have this approach of making housing as commodity and making housing for profit. You have a lot of housing produced by private sector, which are not able to sell, is oversupply. And the people on the ground who cannot match with such a production. So it become like a market target approach, which shouldn't be, because this is an essence, is a living system of people. Okay, it could be produced by the private sector, but how should it possible that they have more the social dimension, social element into the system? So I think our friend Anna from UN Habitat, today is the World Habitat Day, actually, no? Which is very, very important that we have our training inaugurate on the World Habitat Day. Our good friend Anna Rosbach, the ED Executive Director, she is very passionate. She's a very active person trying to promote the change, the global change in the housing development to the poor in a big way. We cannot change the housing behavior, housing development behavior in a big way if we cannot change the behavior of the institution, of the way the approach of housing today is all about. We need to have something which is more collaborative, more intermediate, more link between the different system, people system and institution. We need to build a new collaborative system. We need to have a new creativity. We cannot just let the old institution doing the old thing and say, you have to change. They never change. They never change. No way possible. So it's a new match between whatever existing system and the people system. So whatever tools, finance tools, policy tools, planning tools, all need to be adjusted towards more people approach, more people-centric. Yeah? Only that we can achieve the scale. So people are the scale. We have to look at people as the scale of change and how to allow them the tools and the space and the possibility that they become an active, proactive actor to make a move. So institutions need to make a bridge, need to make a collaboration between the different systems. So we multiply the actors to make the housing solution in a bigger scale, and particularly people need to be the leading force for the change, because they're going to live there. Why architect and engineer bother too much to plan whatever is, and you never stay there, no? Why not planning with the people and not planning just the beginning, just the physical development, but planning their life, planning their system, planning their way of going together on the various subject and issue. Yeah. So this is what collective housing is about, to change 180 degrees from what existing very legit and physical driven, market driven housing development to people driven. And we have to see the opportunity, the possibility of a livelier, happier, more possible more flexible, more diverse kind of housing process to be collectively developed by the people in a more collectively managed, broader society. And this is the way we can build a better city development in which we have the strong community, strong people as a strong roots of the city. So this is my point to speak today. Sorry, I have only
Yeah.
small time. I cannot elaborate on what I should say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sumsuk, to say very important words, and we surely have time to also elaborate some of the issues later on. So with this, I would like to invite, actually, the next speaker was Barbara Lipies. She is a professor of urban development planning and Bartlett Development Planning Unit, DPU. But unfortunately, she will not be here today as she's temporarily having a serious, cold, and she lost her voice. So we hope that she will join us in the next possible session with the participants. So with this, let me invite Ashoka Hart from Sri Lanka. She is a community leader. And Ashoka, Mrs. Ashoka Hart is the president of the Sri Lanka Women's Development Services Cooperative Society, which is generally known as Women's Co-op. It is a collective movement. Her engagement with the movement began in 1997 when she joined as a group member in a small branch named Shivalipura 1. She subsequently took on leadership responsibilities. Over the years, Mrs. Hart has contributed significantly to the growth of the cooperative. She has served on the national audit team and the training team, bringing her knowledge and experience to support international development and capacity building at the institutional development and capacity building at the national level. In addition to her role as president, she continues to serve as the leader of her small group and the finance secretary of the Sivalipura branch 1, demonstrating her commitment to grassroots level organization and leadership. She says, and I think she will focus on more, and she mentioned a quote that together we achieve our dreams through collective effort. So with this, let me invite Ashoka Hart to speak.
Thank you. Iboan, good afternoon, greeting to you all. First of all, let me begin by remembering the founder of Women's Cooperative Society in Sri Lanka, Mr. Nandasiri Gamage, who has passed away 3 years ago. He has initiated this movement in 1989 with the deep-rooted idea of helping the poor women and communities in Colombo. The primary objective of forming women savings groups was to support each other in the group to fulfill their basic needs. But today, in addition to the basic family needs, the women's cooperative has been able to effectively address wide range of family needs of our members. As we all know, housing is the most important need among all other family needs. Every poor family has a dream of achieving a decent house. Over the time, we at the Women's Cooperative too have given priority to support our members to achieve their housing dream. Financial discipline of our members as well as their housing expectation combined with loan repayment capacity enable a large number of our group members to either improve their present house or build a new house. Our approach to solve the problems of our members has well organized system as indicated below. Step 1, mobilize the poor women to form a small group 5 to 15 members. Step 2, those who never had an idea of saving money started weekly saving with a small amount of 5 rupees. The group also provides a space to discuss all their family problems and find solutions. Step 3, weekly meetings of group members has totally changed the attitudes of the members and collective strength of women was developed. Step 4, continuous training given by the more established group leaders on relevant subject help to improve our knowledge. Step 5, the loans given to group members started with addressing emergency household needs and gradually expanded. Step 6, loan for housing improvement is one of the main loan schemes. Step 7, 10 development teams provide every group member to become a leader in housing, health, education, culture, and livelihood, etc. Step 8, collective savings offer collective approach to solve the housing problem of members through affordable loans. Easy repayment scheme encourages members to get more loans to improve their houses. Step 9, some members use their improved house for renting out and earn regular income. They can repay the loan through rental income. In addition to the above, the women's cooperative members are in a strong position to influence the local authority and the government to solve their land problems and pushing for people's housing movement. Through our collective effort, the Women's Cooperative Society was able to construct about 6,000 new houses through 16 billion US dollars during the past 6-year period. In inclusion, I wish to say that we all are hoping to live in a decent house with our family members. In this context, sharing of experiences by all of us would benefit for us to continue our journey together with greater confidence. Thank you all, the organizers and the participants. So let us continue this journey together to empower poor women. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashoka, for very precisely delivering your beautiful speech and very. I was writing the points, very simple points of what to do. Very simple for the members of the collective. So thank you so much. Now I will invite Viti. We also call him Wang. Viti Wisutumpron. He's a community architect and core team member of Community Architects Network that works in 19 countries of Asia. Community Architects Network is a regional network of community architects, community builders and planners, engineers, young professionals, and academic institutions in Asian countries. It believes the role of community architects is to build the capacity of people to make them be their own solution. VT joined CAN as a network coordinator supporting young practitioners with training, workshops, knowledge management, and on-ground actions. He believes the process of this process helps the communities and the professionals answering the question, how can we be a part of the change we want to see? Today, we expect from him to talk about the role of professionals, especially the young professionals in the field of collective housing and its wider linkages, such as, city co-creation process and other things, because I know that this is his passion. That's why I asked without consulting with him. Yeah. So, yeah, Viti.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Kavya. And I think it's on point on what I'm passionate and what I'm here for also. So I was as Kavya mentioned, people call me and call our work community architect. And we have a network called CAN, Community Architects Network, across Asian network, and also across to other network as well. So little fun fact, we were in a meeting and Pi Khieu Somsuk was there sitting together, and we start to mention the year that ACHR started. The first, the ACHR start 1989, which is the year I was born, and it's not the number is so overwhelming for me because you think about this webinar knowledge gathering and put it into action, and it's not experience of 37 years of one person, but you look across this room, it's like I believe more than half of us are practitioners who is driving this, and if we get chance to share the knowledge of all the time together in this seminar, I think how tremendously grand it would be. It's like, to me, it's like a painting called School of Athens, like where you have a lot of so many thinkers, so many practitioners being together. And thank you for the technology as well. Okay. And okay, so I start joining CAN in 2016. There was 27 years later after ACHR was started. I helped Nat and T coordinate CAN, and now in passing this head of coordination to Bangladesh network. I think it's a special occasion because as we are here, we're not talking too much or too invested in the theory only, but I think all the knowledge that we will share in this webinar will be from hands-on, on-ground knowledge, on-ground experience. And I would have to go back to my experience. I was 3 years into help coordinating this CAN, and I go to Myanmar. And I remember the Myanmar team led by Lisa invited, we have a workshop working together with DPU students. Giorgio was there also. And we are in a big meeting room full of international students, professors, and then there's like 5 media press was there with a big camera, and Lisa set up this table and invited the governor and the municipality in the same place, and she set up there to sign the MOU on that day in front of the press. And to me, I think these things, you don't see this thing in the theory. No, you need to learn from the experience. And we are network, we are very big. Each country are specialized we developed in our own context, different way. And I think this is why it's very special that we get this opportunity to learn. It's not only the system that we share, but it's this little detail, this dynamic. You work with the system, you work with the politics in a very, very, very particular context. And I think we could really learn and share this, and it will be very useful. And this is a big picture, but in another thing that I feel like my heart is responsible to is how can we bring this newer generation who care about this into our network and being the new cell that drives this forward. Because as you we hear from Somsuk and many of our senior, this will be a very, very long process that need a lot of development, a lot of learning. And I cannot stop myself from imagining that this, there are many years before this, and it is now, it's today, and it will be this month that we will share. And maybe the next 4 years we get to share again. And something that we share in this webinar will inspire another country to try new things or to work in their own way. And we get to share this story again. It will be like a fluff, a garden of the thing that we learn. It's like a knowledge as a flower garden and a lot of cross-pollination between those, the way we do things. And I forget my point. So to me, being new, I know we have a lot of passion. We have a lot of our heart was there to work to push forward, but you cannot deny the deep knowledge, the tangible knowledge, the way that you see how system work with housing, how marginalized poor community people come together, form up a new system that is strong enough to negotiate and to talk with the big system. And I think these are the things that we as a new generation have to see, have to learn, and have to be the one who put our hand on and try it forward. Yeah, I think I'm not sure if how much time I'm using, but I think this is the heart of what I want to share, what I want to say. And it's glad to be here. It's glad to be a part of this, and I'm happy for all the young blood. Tee, one of the coordinator of CAN, used to call me young blood. I think now he call me bad blood. So yeah, so I'm excited to meet a lot of young blood in this room also.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Muang. I mean, you reminded a lot of things, those who are active in, CAN and ACHR from the beginning. I mean, and every time in different workshops, co-creation workshops or in different countries, which, CAN organized in many countries from Thailand, then Nepal, Indonesia, Bangladesh. So every time we face different challenges, and somehow we overcome in a very interesting way. And through that, we also connect with each other, not only among the professionals, but also with the mayor, with all become like a human being. Not like with their position. That's the beauty of this type of, and as you rightly mentioned, that we cannot learn it from books or from universities. Only we need to dive in this type of process, and through that we learn. And all of our journey is very personal. Everybody. So thank you for reminding us. And I think and Muang will be also in the on-site session in Bangladesh. So we'll be experiencing similar things, maybe more excitement in the biggest, largest low-income settlement of a complex city, Dhaka city. So we invite all with Muang. Next, I will invite Leah. Leah Oswald is the administrator of the NGO UrbaMonde Suisse in Geneva, and in charge of international cooperation projects in the field of community-led housing, with a special focus on the housing cooperative model. She coordinates the Cohabitat network, promoting community-led housing globally. She is also vice president of the Geneva Federation of Housing Cooperatives and co-president of president and future resident. This is very interesting. Future resident of the housing cooperative in Geneva, which is in construction phase. So soon she will be living in a housing cooperative, which is collective housing and community-led process. Today, Leah will present UrbaMonde, the topic of social production of habitat and examples UrbaMonde supports in different countries, including in Europe. She will also talk about the Cohabitat network and the global movement it represents. So I invite Leah to start your speech.
Thank you, Kamil. Can you hear me well? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for the invitation, and I'm very happy to see all this big crowd interested in collective housing. So yeah, I prepared a small presentation I will share with you, so we can also see maybe some pictures about what we are speaking about here. Let me know if you can see it.
Yes, it's visible.
Perfect. So maybe everybody's not very familiar with UrbaMonde, which is an NGO. It is not a big NGO like you might be thinking it is. It is a very small NGO based in Switzerland and also in France. We have a small team. We're about total 10 person working between France and Switzerland, and we have a big network around us, so many people who are also supporting the work we're doing. Our focus is right to adequate housing and promoting different community-led housing models around the world. We are mainly professionals related to the housing sector and urbanism. So there are some architects, urbanists, engineers, but also from the social sciences. But also mainly what is really important and what was mentioned by Kabir in the presentation is that we are also activists and involved locally in similar processes of community-led housing. So personally, I'm involved in Geneva in the cooperative, in the housing cooperative movement here, which is quite important. And yeah, so cooperative housing is one kind of model that is developed and that we can classify under collective housing. But of course, collective housing is broader than that. And that's also what I wanted to speak about, what is related to UrbaMonde's work, is that we, first of all, we work globally with international cooperation projects, and we work also locally in Europe and in Switzerland and in France, supporting through advocacy, experience exchanges, and trying to support financially also what we can, the type of projects that we have now that I will present you. So just to come back to the topic that we're tackling is the social production and management of habitat, which is Maybe some of you have heard about that, but it's more like a Latin American concept that really inspired the way that we define our work. So we support the processes where the residents organize collectively to build the cities from the bottom up, and that we understand that it is when the people they come together collectively, plan and finance, sometimes even build, manage and improve the housing, but not only the housing, the public and the communal spaces, infrastructures and neighborhoods. So we not only consider the topic of housing about the one house that has to be built, but about a larger system, like Samsuk was mentioning, that is a condition to improve the life of the communities. And of course, we focus on low-income families in informal settlements too. Yeah, so that's mainly what we do. Of course, in 10 minutes, we won't get into all the details. So just to mention about this concept that I also invite you to read a little bit more about it, which is the social production management of habitat. There are several conditions that are needed to make such a process work, and some were already mentioned. And so we have identified the access to affordable finance, which is very important, but also access to land, and the technical assistance, which is key. And I think that's something that will be really interesting in the framework of this training. As I understand, there are also a lot of architects or younger architects involved, and what kind of technical assistance we bring to the communities to develop their process, and of course the public support and the legal framework, which is also key. So yeah, that's about the general topic. And what we do as UrbaMonde, we support local stakeholders directly, so mainly civil society organizations through international cooperation projects. So meaning we have public funding from Switzerland and from France that are directed towards communities in the global south. And another activity we develop is experience exchanges, learnings, the kind of training that you're assisting today, but also documentation and advocacy work. And this is mainly developed in the framework of a global network that I will present too. So this is a bad quality map that I just put together before, but just for you to see where we're active now and supporting people. So it's in Latin America, in Africa, and in Asia. In Asia, you can see Bangladesh, Philippines, Indonesia, and Thailand. These are all local partners that are also member of the Asian Coalition for Housing Rights. And POCA is one of them, of course, and that's also how we are managing to support this training session. So just to illustrate the kind of partner that we support locally, like in Africa, there is so mainly to understand our work, we support usually local NGOs that are offering technical assistance to the local communities to develop their processes. In this case, in Africa, in Senegal, it's UrbaSen, which brings together all the professionals that are needed to assist the local communities. And they work hand in hand with the Senegalese Federation of Inhabitants to improve the building, to improve and build houses for the low-income families in Dakar in informal settlements. It's a little bit very similar in Nicaragua, in Latin America, where we support a local NGO that brings this technical expertise and support to local low-income families to build housing cooperatives. And the same in Uruguay, which has a very, very strong local movement of housing cooperatives for very low-income families that is supported through a strong legal framework and a law at the national level. So they have this national federation, and we support the national federation in developing tools to strengthen their movement. This is based also on technical assistance, but also on popular education, and with a strong focus on women's rights. And in Asia, we support POCA in Bangladesh, but also Urban Pro Consortium in Indonesia and PAX in Philippines, and the Asian Coalition for Housing Rights as an Asian regional network. And what we do in Europe, just to illustrate a little bit, so we work with different movements in European countries to bring them together and try to make advocacy work on the European level, where we need also to improve the conditions to support what is already existing. So there is already quite a strong movements existing. I mentioned here the housing cooperatives, but there are also the community land trust, which are collective housing models that tackle the questions of collective ownership of the land, of the building, and more largely how people live together at the scale of the neighborhood and the city. Here on the right, you can see this is my future housing cooperative. So this is the building where I'm going to live, and that's a process I've been involved in for 8 years now, and hopefully we move in March 2026. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer, but I won't have too much time to get into a lot of details. And just to speak about what is really at the heart of our activity is bringing people together and building links between the civil society organizations and also other type of actors like academic, etc. So what we do is animate this cohabitat network that was created with the idea to create these spaces of exchange. There you have all our local partners, but it brings also together a lot of members from all over the world who are really interested in this kind of model. So I invite you to check the website if you want to know more about it. And what we have been working on is lately we have published, we have edited a publication about about building empowered communities and documenting what is done on the ground. So that comes to close to what was said before about we really start from the practice more than from the theory, and we want to illustrate what is really done on the ground. And from that, then we have some indications about what has to be developed and supported. So here we identified the conditions and the factors that enable a group of residents to overcome difficulties and create a strong and resilient community. And one of the main aspects is, of course, the multi-stakeholders collaboration that has already been mentioned several times. It's not only how to bring public authorities to support, but also how to train and have the right technical support actors that are actually have the right tools to work hand in hand with the communities and the right approach. So their needs are really considered in the way to build a better quality and more safer and secure housing. And besides of that, we identified that what is really also key, of course, is the focus on the communities themselves. And what needs to be done is through these different actors that will surround and accompany the communities they have to focus on boosting the self-confidence and the independence of the communities, their capacity to act directly themselves, the strengthening of the solidarity and the social cohesion among the community, and of course, improving the knowledge and skills. And this is the publication that I invite you to read. You will see that there are many examples from Africa and Latin America too. And that's it for my 10 minutes, I think, but I'm happy to answer to any questions.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you so much. And so far, I mean, all the audience, you have noticed that how diverse people work towards this collective housing or community-led housing and whatever say. And Leah from UrbaMonde, she actually through the organization connects locals and becoming actually global. And that is very important for those who are working on the ground. And so this type of organization, and with flexible fund, the way we work is very, very interesting. We talk and try to find out what the project will be and what should be the budget. In this way we collaborate with each other. And this training also is one of the outcome of this discussion with UrbaMonde, that we need this type of thing to actually broaden the idea and also take this idea to wider people. So that's how we thought that, yeah, let's do it. So the main thing is that or as she mentioned, that bringing people or many actors together. So thank you, Leah. And if many people have questions, we can have that in the question and answer session. Now I would like to invite Lajana. Lajana Manandhar is the founder and executive director of Lumanti Support Group for Shelter, based in Kathmandu, Nepal. She holds an MPhil in agriculture economics and brings over 30 years of experience in housing, water and sanitation governance, and women's economic empowerment. Her pioneering work in these areas has significantly contributed to improving the lives of marginalized communities in Nepal, particularly grassroots women. Her efforts have helped foster leadership among women in both political and social spheres. Lajana is a strong advocate of community-led approaches and believes in the power of collective voices to influence policy and promote sustainable urban development. She also serves as the General Secretary of the Asian Coalition for Housing Rights, ACHR, and the Regional Convener of the Freshwater Action Network South Asia, FANSA. So today's discussion actually will end with the Secretary General of the ACHR. We started with Sumsuk Bunyabancha, who is the chairperson. So we'll end with her. So I invite Lajana to start.
Thank you, Kabir. I'm so excited today. After 1 year long discussion of organizing this training, finally it's happening. It started now, and then it's a very exciting event. And what a great day to start. Today is the World Habitat Day, right? And then what a great day to start this important training. I'm also feeling a little bit emotional as well. So we are reaching out to so many, and even I see that 161 participants are gathered here, are participating in this training. That also shows a powerful statement from the participants on our shared commitment to just inclusive and community driven approaches. So that this is when I see this figure, when I see this number of participants, I also feel that this is a source of our strength as well. So many people we need to reach out, and also people are also responding to this cause, interested to join, to share, and we also derive strength from this. So it's a very, very important training. This training is, so we are organizing this collective housing training, and the training is, this training is not only to share from our side, not only to share the experiences from ACHR, but also to connect with all of you, to all the participants, right? To connect. And this training is giving us an opportunity to connect with you, to reflect and to build and rebuild for transformation, to move ahead with positivity, for a better chance, for a better life, for a dignity of the poor and marginalized people. Just to share a little bit about myself, how I got into this activity, into this movement, say, right? So I think maybe it's 30 years experience I already have. So I have begun more than 30 years back, like, you know, right? And I got into this community development initiatives work when I did not know even about what it is. Like when I did not know about the housing for the poor people or the poor communities, I had no idea about it. I had no idea about it. I didn't study about this in the textbooks. Whatever I have learned is from peer exchanges, from visiting the communities, talking to the people, listening from the experienced people, getting myself exposed to the real situation and learning from them and applying into my own work. Right, those days, maybe I was also young, 35 years back, right? So I also had a lot of energy to learn and relearn and to get into work, right? And I had also received a lot of support from ACHR, Somsuk, and then many other senior leaders of ACHR who had actually helped me, guided me, supported me, and to, you know, get these initiatives started in Nepal, right? So what ACHR does, like, you know, so that's, I just reflecting or sharing, like ACHR is a network of the people who is really a kind of, like, you know, want to see the real transformation and supports the development of the people, the leadership, young leaders, you know, and to invest in them, to support them, guide them, to get the real work done. That is how the ACHR has been working for so long, for 3-4 decades now, and continue to do so. And also, it is very important that we also bring new people. So 30 years back, I was new, and Muang also talked about it, his own leadership, his own passionate kind of, like, you know, interest in the work. And ACHR is continuing after 30-40 years, and we also need to encourage more young people. We need to bring them, right? We need to bring them, we need to teach them, share them, learn them, co-create the solutions with them and also with the communities. That's how we need to move ahead. And this kind of training, I think, is very, very helpful, even today. And it is always be, even in future, I think, right? You know, learning together, co-creating solutions together, working together, building solidarity together, right? And that also bring innovations, innovative ideas in solving many issues, making the lives of the poor, marginalized communities easier, improving, helping them to access better housing, collective housing, to work collectively, and also to other issues. And I think this is also getting more and more urgent even today, because the world is urbanizing so fast. We all know that, right? The world is urbanizing so fast, and whatever is happening, the kind of development it is happening is not in favor of the poor communities, right? There are still forced evictions happening, and the impact of climate change also bringing, like, you know, making the lives of the poor more difficult, more challenging, and pushing them into fringes economically, politically, physically. So the lives of the poor communities are really challenged by all these factors. And this kind of training, maybe it is also essential, because like co-creating the solutions will help all of us who are engaged in trying to find solutions, maybe to that will actually help, will equip us to learn more new tools, doing things in a more useful ways, getting people organized, getting solutions from them. And so maybe all this kind of activities will contribute in inclusive development. So this is really getting very, very important. There is a wide divide. There is an urban division. We read that in many articles. Inequality. How do we reduce the inequality? How do we reduce the gap? How do we work together? So we're just hoping that this training, this training online and then on-site, right? Combined, online combined with on-site training will actually help the participants, help us, to get inspired and to step out from our comfort zone and really, respond to a challenging situation. So I think this is very, very important. And also because this training is also, we are also bringing the presentations. We are also getting the community leaders, civil society representatives, the academics to support us, to act as a resource person, to facilitate the discussions, and creating a space for cross-border sharing and building solidarity. So this is what we are trying to do in this training. So this training is about shifting narrative of urban development. It's not only the training only for the sake of training or the webinar only for the sake of webinar, but bringing these various important learning, sharing kind of things. We are also trying to see if we can contribute in shifting narrative of urban development and housing to be treated as a community process and a path to social justice. So we have heard a lot about this, on this concept, on this dimension, community dimension from Somsuk earlier. So that's why I think this training is very, very important. See, and because ACHR has been active for the last 3-4 decades, and we have witnessed how community-driven approaches, whether through saving groups, we actually heard about the saving groups, how in Sri Lanka, the Women's Bank are actually, kind of creating a wave in women getting economically empowered and contributing and transforming the society, especially for the women, how they have been working. We heard from Ashoka. So community-driven approaches, whether through saving groups, community mapping, citywide upgrading, and they have transformed the communities and cities, right? So there are many, many experiences from ACHR, from Sri Lanka, Nepal, Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, Myanmar, Malaysia, so many countries, India. So there's a lot of experiences, and we are trying to bring these experiences from all these communities, from all these cities and countries to share with all of you and to discuss about it and to reflect on that. Why these initiatives, why these important initiatives or the projects, whatever you call it, why it became successful, and why it was successful, how it became successful, why it became successful, and what it meant for the communities, why it is important, and what can we learn from them, and how we can apply in our context. So the training is a part of a broader process of transformation. That's what we are actually planning and thinking. So the training is co-creating solutions and generating knowledge, right? So we are bringing all these experiences from all these different contexts, and we would like to contribute in generating knowledge. The learning comes from lived experience and not from textbooks. As you know, that is also my own personal experience. I'm not an architect. I'm not a trained technical person, right? But I learned from the communities, from getting exposed, from interacting, from listening, and then applying my own knowledge or learning to the communities where I worked. So this training will also contribute to that. Like, we as a facilitator and trying to reduce the gap between the communities, and the government, and then helping to find the solutions, working together, right? Somsuk actually mentioned a lot about, like, softening the approaches. So it's a vertical instead of the vertical or the top-down led development approaches. Just we are reaching out to make it horizontal, and then also finding the ways how to interact, how to work with the governments, how we help them to understand the community processes, and how and what kind of support that would be more important to make the urban development, community development sustainable. And that is the key of also, that is the key for achieving all the SDGs, all the sustainable development goals, right? If the initiations of the communities is not rooted in the community, no way it will be sustainable. So I think this is a community-led process is very, very important. And through this training, we would be sharing the experiences, achievements, successes, and challenges that ACHR and its partners have experienced, have gained from various initiatives in the Asian countries, right? So we are hoping actually to achieve sharing knowledge and practical tools, whatever we have applied, in whatever way we have worked. Also learning from each other means we will also learn from you as a participants as well, like, so we will learn from you, and maybe you will learn from us. So that's a learning from each other. And strengthening regional solidarity, because that is also very, very important. We need to strengthen the regional solidarity as well through this training. So we are reaching out to many of you. We are reaching and strengthening our own initiatives with our network members, and we do face many common challenges. So we need to have a strong regional solidarity to address, to scale up the process that has begun. And then we also need to explore how to influence policy and systems, how the learning can be used. Whatever the learning we will be learning from this training, right? Whatever we will gain, whatever we come to know, so that need to be explored to influence the policy and the systems as well. So I think, like, so what do we expect? How this training will be how this training can be beneficial for all of us, for all of you, is I think it's very important that we need to listen deeply and learn from communities. So we need to listen and learn from communities, the experiences shared, the challenges, the difficulties, the way they have worked, which may be very different from the conventional approaches, right? So need to understand, need to learn. I think you need to listen deeply what is happening, how this initiation is different from the kind of like top-down approaches. And also it is very important to question the traditional roles and rethink practice. The conventional, traditional rules, right? So we need to also to question, like, this, and also need to rethink the new practices, why it is getting sustainable, why it is working out, and why the conventional approaches have failed, why it is not working out, why it's not successful. So we also need to question. So I hope that as a participant throughout the training, need to question this, which will not be easy, but then need to question, need to see anxious for the questions you have, so that we actually come out with a anxious that actually satisfies us, that actually helps us to build a new kind of knowledge, new kind of a new knowledge, a new learning for ourselves. So that is very, very important, I think. And also contribute your skill to collective efforts. So we are hoping that after the training, how will you be continuing with the learning from this training? Right? You listen and then you forget. No, please don't do that. So we would like to see that you contribute your learning, your skill, whatever you have actually learned from this training, to some useful work to promote the collective housing processes, to collective efforts of the communities, and see how that can be integrated. How can your skill be helpful, useful for the benefit, for the sustainability of the community development, for the urban development, in whatever role you are positioned, whether you are in a government or as a trainer, as a professional, as an academician, in whatever role you are positioned there. I think we would like to see your skill, your knowledge, your learning is used or contributed for the betterment of the societies, for social justice. And also, please do build your long-term commitment. So there's a long way to go. I have actually walked, I didn't even realize when I started my journey that I will be into this for the 30 years plus, and then still moving, right? And still moving. So it's a long way, the commitment is very, very important. No matter, you make a small contribution or a big contribution in whatever field, whatever position you are standing, but the journey is important. So you keep walking and continue your journey. That's how we scale up. I think that's how we scale up, practically, so because scaling up, we use this word very often, scaling up, but then how do we ourselves become a part of the scale up? I think it's very important that we build a long-term commitment and keep working for social justice, to reduce the gap, to promote the collective housing processes. I think I stop here now, and I would like to thank to all our partners, to POCA team actually, who have really worked very, very hard for so many months now, and who have actually contributed in finalizing the training contents and organizing this training as well. So a big appreciation and thank you to POCA team and our partners. Leah is here. Thank you so much, Leah, for all the support, and to all the facilitators and ACHR team members, our own network members. So I would like to acknowledge, and very, very glad that you all are here, you all are supported, you all are a part of this bigger movement, and then the participants, definitely the participants. And your role is very, very important. You are here. That's why we are organizing this training. So let's co-create the solution. Let's work together. Let's build the solidarity. Thank you very much. I stop here. Okay, thank you. Kabir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lajana. A lot of very important things you have mentioned about the training, and about also the path of the, I mean, juniors, to you, so how the learning will be used. And also you mentioned about the need to listen deeply and learn from communities. This is so important. And maybe if after the question, or maybe in another session, There are a lot of stories, everyone in this process, they can say about, how we have been learning from the communities, and really it takes time. As you mentioned that, have patience and keep walking, and it takes time. When, let me say this, in 2009, 2008, I saw the book, the Cody book on 50 upgrading project. It came to, then I said, oh, I need to visit this. So beautiful book. It's a fatless book, like, before, after, just work. 50 projects and maybe 100 pages. So then I have to say this. Then I went to, without knowing anyone, without knowing ACHR, I went to Bangkok and end up to, found some architect and went to the Bangbo project. And at that time, I was living in a big, actually in Korail, the slum will be working in Dhaka. Then I gave the problem to the community leader that I am from Bangladesh and this is what people are facing. There's a big slum, and what do you think? And he says about the same thing what today Ashoka mentioned the points. And I didn't understand anything because I am an architect. And he was saying that mobilize the poor, the first 2 points, and start saving and start meeting among themselves. Saving. Then I didn't understand. Then I met, one of the members of Community Architects Network, NAD, in Nepal in 2012. And he's an architect. I thought that maybe he will talk about, in a different way. And he said that, okay, organize your people and start saving group. Same thing. Then, in 2013, when we went to Philippines for a co-creation workshop, then we found the POCA, many of us in Bangladesh. And slowly after that, we started to learn this. And still we are learning. So thank you, Lajana, for mentioning this. It takes time because of our education. We have to unlearn a lot of things. So I think we have 10 to 12 minutes time for question answer. After that, Rubaya will talk about, if Rubaya, can you finish it by in 10 minutes?
Yes, yes, sure. We can
Okay.
take the question.
Then maybe we can have 15 minutes for question. There are a few questions in the chat box. Please, speakers, please, go through that. First, I saw one for Muang. Rakesh was asking that last time in Jinaida is a city of in Bangladesh, Jinaida, when asked about individual cherishing moment in our experiences, Muang shared his personal story concerning an old woman. If I am not wrong, it was powerful and touching. Would like to hear that again, if that's okay. Muang. Muang, are you here? I think maybe when Muang is ready, we can hear from him later. There is a question for Leah. What are the challenges of developing cooperative housing in the current capitalistic lifestyle that promotes more and more individualistic and consumeristic lifestyle? Leah.
Easy question. I think we would need like a whole other session to tackle all the challenges, and then another one to explore all the solutions that actually exist. But yeah, the main challenges, of course, is what was mentioned is first of all ourselves, like to change our mindset and our chips and to understand what these kind of models can actually accomplish. And that's not a minor challenge, I think. That's actually what you all said, a very long-term challenge to address. And other challenges are structural, of course. So what can we do as a small but organized movement when we are in a country where there is no legal framework that supports, where there is the big traditional financial market that doesn't want to support the poor communities. Yeah, so I'm not going to list all this. You all know them. But it's a huge challenge. So what is needed is civil society organizations that keep resisting, and that's where solidarity and working together is very important, I think. Yeah, so if I refer to my own context, where I think we're quite privileged compared to others, of course, in Switzerland, also because of the political system, etc., we have the possibility to get public support, but it's also always a struggle because we're still a minority defending a model that is not the streamlined main accepted model of housing and developing housing. It's not-for-profit housing, which is definitely something that is not the favorite model of the major people at power right now. But as long as you have these little organized resisting islands and that you work towards more, you can actually accomplish things, but it takes time. So I don't think I'm going to get more into the details of the challenges, but you will, of course, I think, address them all through the different sessions that you will have.
Okay, thank you, Leah. Muang, you want to share? You are muted, Muang.
I'm sorry, I was off
Yeah.
from Zoom a bit, and I just jump in and the chat box disappears. Maybe if you could repeat the question, Kabir. Now you're mute.
The question was asked by Rakesh. He's asking last time in Jinaida, when asked about individual cherishing moment, like in the reflection session, Muang shared his personal story concerning an old woman. If I'm not wrong, it was powerful and touching. Would like to hear that again, if it is okay.
Sharing what? Sharing.
If you remember, share concerning an old woman, you shared a personal story of an old woman. Do you remember?
Old woman. Did I made that up? Old woman. Oh, was it? I'm not sure if it's this one, but stop me if it's not the same story now. But I think it's there were moments when I started working, and I was there in the field, in the atmosphere of participatory process, and I was very new, very confused, and I didn't know what to do, and the community start arguing because no one want to cut off a part of their house, and me as a community architect, I could draw on the plan, but I could not make decision for them. So it need to be something that discuss, and they start arguing and fighting. It's like a atmosphere, like a thunderstorm and a volcano explode, cow give birth, everything crazy. And then it's suddenly it went quiet, and an old lady, nearly a grandma, she said that okay, she's now living with her husband alone in this house, and she could split her house a bit so that it can give away to the community walkway. And from that, from her stand up and sharing, then other people start to reconsider about what they can share. And it's suddenly this thing, solution kind of emerge. And it's not from you, not from the community architect telling what it could be, but it's you being there. You are a part of that. And yeah, I'm not sure what's the learning, but it's also always in my memory that you give this space, you give this support to them and be there and let the solution emerge. Sometimes you don't have to know the solution. Of course, you don't know the solution, so you don't need to know, but be there, do your role, and these things you need community to work together. I'm not sure if it's this
Yeah.
story though.
Yeah, he mentioned that this is the story. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you, Muang.
Okay, this is
There
not a
is
made up.
another there is another question by Dhanesh. He thanked all panelists for inspiring presentation, and he has a question. Community architecture and housing for unprivileged communities is a vast and important topic, and it's clear that we need to work together to find sustainable solutions. One of the biggest challenges we face is securing grants or funding for such projects. Too often, these initiatives are viewed through a lens of sympathy rather respect, which reduces them to act for charity or donations rather than serious development efforts. Okay, my question is, beyond charitable support, is it possible to create a sustainable business model that can accelerate these projects and make them more resilient and viable on the ground, while also ensuring mutual benefits for all stakeholders involved? A very good question. I think this is what actually our questions is. Maybe can we ask this question? Yeah. Sumsuk was already raised hand. Sumsuk, please.
No, actually, I'm not intending to answer this question. We'll ask maybe Rachana can help answer this question, but I just think it's important. So okay, I leave this question. Sorry, Kabir. But feeling like I like to add to the former question and answer to Leah on how to make the collective housing possible in a market climate and in a existing system like this. And Leah already answered very many important points. But I think I think it's important because otherwise we will see the problem of the existing and we don't know how to find room to make the change. What the first factor is that the people always very important resource to start with, right? So people, especially the one who don't have rights, the one who don't have affordability, the one who like to do more than just living in the isolated dwelling. There are people who could be the cloud system, and they are there all the time. If we understand, so the people are there. This is number one. The second key point is what are the possible resources so that this community energy, community system could make a move. Yeah. In general, there are different possibility. Yeah, right. In the CODI process, CODI is just a funding system. We have the money, and this money is open for the community to make to come together and take initiation and to link together as a network. So the funding allow people the new move, make a new move by creating the funding which is friendly, which is open for their different necessary movement, right? It's as simple as that, no? I propose to Kabir that we draft the national development community-driven development institution in such a way that we just have a funding and allow this funding to flow in such a way that it become the community-driven collective project movement. No, so finance, a special kind of finance is one thing that would allow unlimited movement to make a new alternative possible. The second one, like Kitisha kept giving the experience, like in Odisha, and I think it happened the same thing in many other countries, that if you don't have the money, you allocate land. You allocate land, public land to community, but do the allocation in such a way that it allows the collective system to spring up, not to give land for individual arrangement, which is the case. All this land giving 10-year security program always go to individual, which mean that people could sell it to the market. Yeah, so you just transfer the public land to the market. No collective process. So this is another possibility that land allocation, find a way that land allocation could be given to a collective system of the people. People are there already, just need organization. So if you have financial resource, they can move, make a big move. Or you don't have a very flexible financial resource, you have land. So the set of people could move into the land and start building the system of living together. Yeah, or you have a kind of good collaboration with the private sector, in such a way that the private sector can make something like a cross subsidy for whatever they going to develop and allow certain part to let the people build the system all by themselves. So there are possibility to make the collective housing, which is not market driven, possible. But we need to see all the different system in our society. What are the more possible front? What are the more possible resource or the element that would allow the people to get access to build this kind of collective housing together in a big way. Yeah. And once you do it more and more, it becomes a snowball effect. Yeah. Today, although the coding system, we actually losing a little against the society, because you start from the people, you make the demand-driven approach, while all the system in the society is still supply-driven and top-down and so on. But because people could show project, people could show that doing this way, it has a lot more meaning than housing activity, because they build the system, the social system, the economic system, they make sustainable development is a lot richer, so this become an impact that it continue to make a move. When we work with the people, this will be a bigger and bigger possibility that whatever system cannot stop that. Yeah. So I think there are many elements to allow the collective housing to happen in a big way. Yeah. I learned that when I was learning in Denmark. I studied in Denmark in the late 1970s. The first time I went there, I saw a lot of collective housing here and there. No? In people could buy a big house together, buy a plot together, build different size of collective housing. And why it's possible? They said only that the municipality of Copenhagen at that time allocate the funding for collective housing. Yeah. So the people could just get together and get access to develop the collective system together. And once the land is secure, housing is secure, they develop many other things, environment, social, and many other. So it could be as simple as that, you know, and to allow this to move in a big way. Yeah, just add to this. Thank you.
Thank you, Samsuk. I think we have only 7 minutes to go. What we can do, there are many questions I see, and in our next sessions, maybe, you know, we will have more time to ask these questions and have discussion. So I think please don't throw these questions, you know, keep this, and we'll also record it. So maybe next in the next sessions we'll discuss about this. So now we need to hear about the schedule and other information of the training from Rubaya. Rubaya, can you start?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. It has been a wonderful and a very insightful opening day for the collective housing training. A heartfelt thank you to our moderator Khandakar Hasibul Kabir and to all the speakers for sharing their valuable perspectives and setting the tone for the coming days. In next few weeks, we will listen more from community practitioners and experts on specific topics. And the key topics are citywide planning and upgrading, access to finance for housing, participatory planning and youth engagement, disaster and climate change, people centric development. Actually, what makes our heart full is that we have with us experts who work from the very ground up, people who have been part of real community struggles and achievements, and they have set examples of how bottom up processes can grow into powerful citywide, nationwide, region wide, and even international movements. So we are all very eager to hear these stories, which will remind us that transformation begins with people. And for the schedule, we have already shared the course schedule through email. I will just quickly go through the timings. The classes, the online training is on every Monday and Wednesday, except for the Diwali week holiday. So for the citywide planning and upgrading on this topic, we have a session on 8 October, this coming Wednesday and next Monday. And then for access to finance, we will have the session on 13 October. For participatory planning, the session is on 27 October. For disaster and climate change, there are two sessions on 29 October and 3 November. And our last session will be on 5 November on people-centric development. So this, our learning journey uh, uh, will end up in Dhaka with an in-person co-creation workshop from 17 to 21 November. People who have already registered for the on-site session will be informed through email. So please keep an eye on the emails for even session speaker details and relevant study materials. We will share everything to all the participants through email. And I'd just like to share a little that the on-site training session is led by this platform of community action and architecture, POCA. And POCA is a national platform in Bangladesh where this is a group where people from different backgrounds who are interested in working with low-income communities, we engage with each other. POCA has been co-creating various designs with marginalized vulnerable communities using tools like community mapping, profiling, implemented housing, and social infrastructure in different parts of Bangladesh. And like ACHR, let people be the solution is at the core of our philosophy. And all of the ventures, we aim to elevate the practice of community architecture and establish a happy, good network between communities. And this training, it's this whole collective housing training, it's as everyone is sharing, it's not just about sharing the knowledge, it's also about building networks, making our team bigger, strengthening this understanding about collective housing, and hopefully creating some practical tools which will help communities in their own context. I'll also like to inform participants who will attend all the online sessions will receive certificates, and on-site participants will also receive separate certificates for participation. I think that's all from my side. We hope to learn and grow together. Thank you.
Thank you, Rubaya, for precisely mentioning everything within. So, anyone have anything to say? Last word, from speakers or from the audience. You can speak up. 1 minute left, then we will say goodbye. Okay. We really look, yeah. Anyone? Yes,
can
yes, please.
Can I ask something? Maybe Rubaya could add into this, but I believe there will be a system in the back of house that will keep this knowledge and synthesize all the knowledge that will be shared through this series of webinar also. So in the end, if you could not join every session, you would also, maybe at the end we could share some fruits from this seminar.
Yes, we plan to share the key learnings as immediately as possible through our social media, and at the end we will also share all the meeting recordings with our participants, so if anyone has missed because of timing issue or anything, they can listen to the recording. And at the end of all the online sessions, we'll have a compiled version of all the knowledge we have gathered. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all participants, and thank you all speakers to join today. So have a good day. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Kabir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you, Bangladesh team.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.